detective. Thrill me.
Thanks for joining us again. Bit of Stephen King this week, Jared. Been a while, I think, since we've been down the King Road. I believe I mentioned Christine, and I think we've already done that.
Yeah, I think we might.
We probably dodged a bullet there because as soon as I started talking about it, I was like, yeah, but I remember this, that, and the other, and saying this was good and about it. I couldn't find the episode, but I for some reason I think we've done it.
Yeah, I think we had to.
Yeah. So we've pivoted to some lesser. I guess this would be lower tier King in terms of film work.
Yep.
It's 1993's Needful Things.
Maybe middle tier.
Middle tier. But before that, let's go through what we've been watching, Jared. What depths have you plumbed in the last week?
Well, there's a couple of depths that have been plumbed, but there's some
And which toilets have you
reasonable work as well.
Put your hands in.
Well, so I watched Dave Chappelle's latest comedy special.
Yes.
I think it's similar to the other ones. There's a few things where I'm like, just ditch it. I mean, he can't help himself getting involved in some of the conversations that have been around him lately. But when you get away from that and you get into some other stuff, he's still got the ability to really nail a joke and tell a story really well. So there's definitely some stuff there that's worthwhile. But yeah, I sometimes wish he would just avoid some of the controversies around him lately. Piggybacking on previous things that we've spoken about.
Yep.
I watched the first Evil Bong movie.
Did you now?
I did.
And how was it?
It was pretty average.
Oh, okay.
Pretty poor. I am going to check out the others, and I have noted that some of the run times are a little shorter, which would be nice.
Do you think the budgets get lower each film?
Oh, the budgets are just like super tight. I mean, essentially, this had two locations, two rooms, not even locations. Like one was a room in an apartment, and the other was this club sort of setup. It's just super cheap filmmaking. There's something with the full moon features where when they hit on a reasonable idea, sometimes you can get a few laughs or you can get a bit of a fun time out of them. So I'm hoping that's what happens later on. I hope they just kind of take the comedy and just embrace the stupidity and just go with it, which I believe is what happens with the series. So let's see. I'll report back on that. But I had to take a break. I had to take a bit of a break from full moon features. So I you're gonna laugh when you hear what I took a break with.
My God.
I checked out Auntie Lee's meat pies.
What? What's that?
It's another one of these.
I mean, honestly, Jared, like, fuck. Is there a spot? Is there a place you're not willing to go?
Well,
Because
I mean, there's lower than this, isn't it?
That's fucking amateur filmmaking, isn't it?
Well, this one had a bit of a budget, I think.
Did it?
It was like I think it was 1990 or 91 kind of, I don't know, I think a little bit Texas Chainsaw.
What was it called?
Cannibal-y sort of affair. Auntie Lee's meat pies.
Auntie Lee's meat pies.
Pat Morita as the sheriff for the little town, and Michael Berryman as one of the kind of hangers-on of the little group. And
Hang
what
on
was
a
her
second.
name?
Did you
Karen
say
Black.
Pat
I believe.
Morita?
Pat Morita is the sheriff.
Fucking hell, that guy was nominated for an Oscar.
Not for
Shit,
this.
not for this.
Not for this. Look, it was all right. It had a bit of,
Fuck.
you know what you're getting into with those kind of. I mean, obviously
Do
there's
ya?
a sprinkling of. Well, you think there's a sprinkling of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This one made me feel a bit like part 2, where there was a bit of a comedic angle to it. It was just. It got a bit weird. It just didn't commit fully to the cannibal kind of idea. But then also Auntie Lee's girls that were working for her were all these girls that had appeared in Playboy and stuff like that. And they didn't really fully commit to that angle either. So I'm kind of like, well,
What angle's that?
I don't know, well, what do you reckon? What do you reckon? You don't hire people from Playboy for their acting ability, Adam. Is what I'm
Yeah, I
saying.
know, but I'd like you to actually point out what angle.
Smut nudity.
Yeah, so they didn't even commit to that
They didn't
angle.
commit to that.
Holy
That's not to
shit.
say that's what I was hovering
No,
around for.
I mean, no, of course that's not the reason why you clicked on Auntie Lee's meat pies.
No, well, I got onto it because Joe Bob I'd seen the poster on there and I was like, eh. And then Joe Bob on Patreon, I'm on Joe Bob's Patreon. Well, he had this little thing where he was with the girls promoting the movie. It was a little promo that Joe Bob
back
cut
in the day
for a couple of minutes, like they were having a barbecue. He's having a barbecue with a couple of the girls that in the movie are cutting people up to make the pies and stuff. So I saw it there, and then I was like, well, it's right here to watch, so I better check it out.
Okay.
So after that, I went to a little bit of John Carpenter. I needed to fill some holes in the resume. I watched Ghosts of Mars.
It sucks, doesn't it?
It's not great, but it's one of these situations where I'd heard it was so bad that I kind of watched it and I went, oh, well.
No,
it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, yeah, it's not a good movie, but it's got a bit of that Carpenter kind of, a solid bit of a setup.
Yeah.
Kind of like Escape from New York, sort of. It's got hints of Escape from New York, hints of Assault on Precinct 13. To me, I thought the fucking design of the people that were fucking possessed on Mars was just rubbish. And then, of course, the score.
Didn't they have like fucking piercings through their noses,
piercing
and shit?
things and stuff? And then the score was really. It had touches of.
Was it by Carpenter?
Stuff. Yeah, I think it was him with input from others, but it had touches of like Carpenter-ish bits here and there. But then it just hit this point where it just felt like it was fucking unrelenting and.
That's an early Statham performance, isn't it?
Yeah. I wasn't big on him.
Not in the film, no. How's Ice Cube acquit himself?
He was okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was
Ice
okay.
Cube's got the right amount of swagger and shit for that type of thing.
Yeah. After that...
Been a rough start. All right.
Gets a little bit better.
Let's get back on deck.
I don't know. It depends.
Let's get on solid ground.
Gets better briefly. So after that, I went back to The Hitcher.
Oh, the original?
The original, which I hadn't seen for quite a few years. I recalled not really liking it, but really enjoyed it this time around. Rutger Hauer was excellent.
Yeah.
And C. Thomas Howell, who, I mean, obviously the guy's had a decent career, but I never really kind of looked at him as like delivering.
I think Soul Man might have fucked him up.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
But he was actually really good too. In those sequences where he's got to be alone and sort of delivering this fucking frantic kind of scared performance, he does really well. It's a little bit frustrating at times, the amount of times he gets pinned for things.
Yeah.
But yeah, really good movie. Rutger Hauer is just awesome. So after that, I decided to check out The Hitcher 2, the one where Jake Busey takes over the
role,
the Hitcher role.
Lesser.
C. Thomas is back, and Carrie Werner is with him. Just a rehash, but with a bit less craft going into some of the sequences. I feel like it wasn't terrible.
How's Jake Busey in the Rutger role?
Well, he's no Rutger.
No.
But he also has to do some sillier things.
Yeah.
For example, there's one where he kind of gets to a diner before they do, so he fucking sets himself up in the kitchen. And I'm like, well, Rutger didn't have to do that.
No. And the remake, if I remember correctly, they squandered.
Well,
was it Sean Bean?
I watched the remake.
They squandered fucking Sean Bean's acting skills.
Again, I didn't hate it.
No, I think it's not as bad as everyone makes out.
No, and it's a pretty much beat for beat. Like they have all the major parts of the original with minimal tweaks. One big one in particular, but I think the thing that they maybe do wrong for that one is pair the boy and the girl up from the start. So it doesn't allow that what C. Thomas Howell was able to give early on, where he's just fucking losing it and doesn't know what to do. Jennifer Jason Leigh in the first one was really good too, as coming in and kind of believing him. And so, yeah, I didn't hate it, but just, not quite as good. I think if you were looking to circle one of those, you just go straight to the first one.
Yeah.
The last one, actually, no, two more. After kind of, being wrapped up in Rutger's performance in The Hitcher, I went for a little more Rutger, and I went for Blind Fury.
I love Blind Fury.
Which was
Fucking
surprisingly...
silly as, but it's good.
Surprisingly held up pretty well.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that Rutger gets a few laughs out of it.
Mm.
I recalled the one in the car where the guy started, he's screaming at him, "What are you, blind?" And he's like, "Yeah, what's your excuse?" or something like that.
Yeah.
But there's a few more bits there where he gets a few giggles. And
it's not taken too seriously.
And it shows you got a bit of a silly idea like that, but you throw a couple of reasonable actors around and you get something like that.
Yeah.
You get something that's a bit
Is
of
that
fun.
Philip Noyce?
Yeah.
By Philip Noyce?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a handy director.
Mm. And the last one I went to was Natty Knox, which was Dwight Little's movie from late last year.
Return to the horror genre.
Return to the horror genre. It's got Danielle Harris and Bill Moseley and Robert Englund. And again, okay. It seems a little... Well, that's the thing. It seems a little confused. The setup starts a bit like Candyman, sort of. Sets up a bit of a Candyman kind of vibe, a bit of a ghost story kind of vibe, but it doesn't stay that way. I think the strength of it is some of the characters in the group of teens, they handle those relationships reasonably well. Like the kids that are in there all do a pretty decent job, and them and some of the peripheral characters are a little surprising. Like you see them early on and you think you just get one note kind of vibes, which they twist on a little bit as you go, which I thought was good. So, yeah, if you're interested in him or, the actors or that sort of thing, or you just happen to be floating around Tubi and there's nothing else to watch, Arnie Lee's Meat Pies isn't available.
Yeah,
and jump onto Natty Knox.
Yeah, if I can't get onto Arnie Lee's Meat Pies because so many people are watching it, like that sort of thing. Like find Natty Knox.
You laugh, but I saw as soon as I mentioned, Pat Morita and sort of the thing, you kind of thought...
I'm not going to lie, I sort of felt like, well, hang on a second. This sounds a little bit classier than
Actually, you know what? When I said Playboy, I saw you go, okay.
Oh, bullshit. Don't try and fucking stick me in there. All right, okay. I kept going with Reacher on Amazon Prime. I also watched The Act, which is the one with Patricia Arquette and Joey King, and it's about the true crime story of the mother and daughter where she was sick all the time and turns out, mum was pulling this fucking Munchausen by proxy type of deal, and then she was murdered. Look, it was really good for the first 5 episodes, and Patricia Arquette and Joey King especially, are absolutely fantastic. But it just goes off the fucking... It just falls apart.
Do you reckon, like, hearing a little bit about that story, I reckon you could have done that in a movie.
Probably. Or you could have cut it down to like 4 eps, in my opinion. Things go off the fucking reservation because you've spent 5 episodes showing what a fucking just awful person this woman is. And there's no other way to describe it, Jared. There's no other way to describe it. And then they try and kind of like humanise her with an episode where we go back into her past. And I'm just like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Like it's not worth it.
Mm.
And then everything just kind of just plateaus and it just falls apart after that.
Yeah, right.
Which was disappointing. As I said, the performances are excellent. And I then watched the documentary on it, the HBO documentary on the case on Binge called Mummy, Dead and Dearest.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely, drove it home. This woman was an absolutely awful, awful, awful human being.
Mm.
No, there is no way to step around it. Everybody they spoke to was just like, this was people in her family and that. They were just like, she was just a fucking piece of shit.
Mm.
So it's hard not to think, I mean, nobody deserves to die, but there's a kind of little bit of this, you got what you deserved in it.
Well, it felt almost like it wasn't self-defense in the moment, but
Yeah.
it felt almost like
Yeah,
that.
kind of. It's just the way they went about it.
Yeah.
And there were other options, in my opinion.
Yeah. Just break away.
Yeah.
Just fucking run away.
Well, it was clear that she could fucking walk.
Yeah.
So I think you can head out the door, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, see you, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, catch you later. I am 25, not fucking 12.
Yep.
So I watched all that. Watched another documentary called Camp Hell, Teenage Nightmare, which is about the wilderness survival camps set up in the 80s by this particular bloke who it just descended into abuse and, all sorts of shit. One camper died and, it was just fucked. And then this guy gets off the charges and then goes and reinvents himself doing another bullshit camp somewhere else, that type of thing.
Yep.
Typical of this type of stuff. It was interesting, but it was sort of average. I'm on a bit of a doco kick because my wife has wanted to watch 52 docos this year. That's her.
Yeah, right.
So I caught another one. It's not really our bag, but it was called Longest Third Date. It's about these two people who on their third date went to Costa Rica and then COVID hit, and they were stuck there for 80 days together. I mean, it was pretty.
Sounds like a winner.
You know what? It was filmed and edited very much like an episode of fucking Love Island or something like that.
Yeah.
It was not particularly great, in my opinion, but they seem to have made a connection and are together still. So, I also watched another one. This was probably the most interesting. It was called Girls Can't Surf. It was on Stan, Jared. I know that you have a long-standing feud with Stan, but.
Well, they haven't charged me after I cancelled, so.
Well, that's good.
They're a step above Paramount.
Yeah, that's right. It was looking back at female surfing, the rise of female surfing from the 70s through to now, and basically the pioneers of the sport that then made it. Now it's equal pay, I believe, on the tour, and someone like Stephanie Gilmore is making millions, as a surfing champion. And so they look back at some of the Aussies and South Africans and Americans and that who sort of were big coming through. That was very interesting. And I must admit, Tony Gregg, I got a fucking laugh out of Tony Gregg because they show a Wide World of Sports segment they did about women's sports and they talk women's surfing. And all the males, Australian males, are there going, they need to look like women. They can't dress like this and... they'll never be as good as the blokes and all this sort of shit. And then it cuts to Tony in the studio, and Tony's response is, "Wake up, fellas! It's the 90s." It's just like, yeah, good one, Tony.
Good on you, Tony.
Good on you, Tony. But it was really good. It's really worth looking at. We've been watching Fool Me Once on Netflix. It's sort of a thriller series. We're 4 episodes in. I mean, it's fucking super interesting, but it's all happening. Every episode's got 10 different fucking things going on, and you're trying to work out what's happening with this and what's happening with that. I get the feeling it's going to go right off the deep end in about an episode. Then we're going to find out some kind of weird conspiracies going on and what have you. But it's reasonably entertaining. And the last one, Jared, relates to your mate, Johnny Cena. Who you've recently took a bit of you gave him a little stick after freelance.
I don't know if I gave him stick. I think I just
you pointed out John should know better than picking freelance. I believe you said.
I think I may have said that.
He probably should have also known better about playing with fire.
Right.
Which was in 2019.
Yes, I do recall
which is
that
kind
one.
of your game plan, that one with The Rock.
Yep.
And we were looking for a little bit of, mindless bullshit to watch, me and the wife. And I said, you'd probably enjoy this. I think it's like the game plan.
So you're getting stuck into me, but then you're hovering around this, pretending this is some highbrow
No,
shit.
it's not highbrow. I'm saying it's
You
not.
pair are picking a trumped up kindergarten cop, and you're giving me shit.
Look, I'm not fucking picking movies about evil bongs, mate. All right, or people with meat pies.
Yeah, but you
made out
should
of
be.
humans.
That's the problem.
I know, that's the problem. Well, it's true because after watching it, I was like, "Fuck! I wish I'd have watched Evil Bong."
Yeah.
It's these movies are so fucking, like they're so by the numbers, And
Can I throw this at you too? These movies are still at the heart of it, based around. Oh, look at this! It's a bloke. He's got to take care of a child.
Yeah, I know.
He can't do that.
Exactly. And having being a man who has actually
Who has
helped
done
raise
that.
a female child, I kind of take this pretty fucking hard.
Yeah. Well, I'm raising two. I think look.
I feel like
I may
handle
not be
it.
the Johnny Cena of child rearing, but I think I'm doing a decent job.
It's just and look, Cena's a perfectly capable actor.
Yeah, he is.
And
look, I'm a big fan of
Keegan
the
Michael
guy.
Key's in it, and John Leguizamo and stuff, and they're all good actors.
Yeah.
But the material's just so fucking. I mean, who makes this? Like, the thing that I look at is which studio goes, "Yep." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Who
which
reads this
studio
bullshit and
goes,
says,
"Yep"?
"Oh yeah, awesome."
Which talent agency attaches Cena Leguizamo?
Yeah, I know. Which one of these guys go like? When does Cena go? No.
Well, you get someone like Key. He probably hears from the agent, yeah, we've got you a comedic role. John Cena and Leguizamo are already in. What do you think? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We've attached him, and then we send him the script, and he goes, "Oh, fuck. What have I done?"
I guess the thing about someone like Cena is it harks back to the problem we have similar with The Rock, is that they continue to look for and Arnie had the same problem.
Mm.
That we're looking for tailor-made films.
Yeah.
We need a tailor-made comedy with kids. Oh, here's some shit that we pulled off the deck.
Yeah.
And we'll just punch it up for a bit of Cena. It doesn't, to me, Cena's a good enough actor to be a bit more choosy.
Well,
that's my opinion. And I think The Rock's the same. Be more choosy.
We kind of looked at that The Rock kind of ended up. He started out in a couple of those smaller roles, just, doing something a bit different.
Mm.
It didn't always work out. There's always the Southland Tales in there somewhere, but Batista still does that.
Yeah.
Even though he's got a bigger profile, he still can take
Knock at the Cabin and things like that. That aren't really a wheelhouse for him.
And he doesn't have to be the guy leading it.
No.
Again, his resume is not perfect. He's got a couple of stinkers in there. But that's probably in the positive, more in the positives than the negatives. But he'll take a fucking supporting role.
I guess I look at it and say these guys have a bit more to offer.
Yeah.
Than this.
I guess The Rock is in a different class now because his is very much about brand too. I mean, he's selling Under Armour gear. He's selling tequila. He's got to put himself as the King Dingling. But I just, I don't know. If you got to be the star of the movie, okay. But can we just do something a little different? So yeah.
So
I hear what you're saying. I'm just looking forward to
boil it right down. It sucked.
I'm just looking forward to Johnny Cena getting back into Peacemaker and sort of getting the star back up there again.
Yeah. Because I don't want to see him like this.
No.
It's like seeing your favourite rock star fucking drunk on stage.
It's like stumbling across a current John Bon Jovi video on YouTube
and going, "Holy shit! Is that guy? Is that the same guy?"
Yeah, I think.
Exactly.
Because Cena was right in the pocket. He was feeling it, and then within the space of a month, he has freelance and gets his movie canned, and it's like, fuck.
Although that's now back on the playing field.
Well, they're trying to shop it.
Yeah. Zaslav's put his hand up again, has he?
Well, I think he
I'll
responded
get
to
it,
the
and then I'll
backlash.
take another tax break on
I think he responded to the backlash. I think what he'll do is he'll say, "I'm shopping it." Then quietly, when it dies down again, you'll find he's taking a tax.
Do you think that conversations between him and Cruz, because now Cruz is picked up
Cruise
a
is
deal
tied
at
up.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Do you think Cruise's response to him was, none of my movies get fucking resold? Do you understand? Like, you don't fucking shop my stuff around.
I read the Hollywood Reporter article, and apparently TC and Zaslav hit it off. But he's cut a deal that says, I think it was like there's 2 movies. They were talking 2 movies or something like that. But then there was a line that there's no deal that locks Tom into anything. There's no, no deal that locks Tom into having to make anything.
So do you think Tom's just been there going, talking double Dutch the whole time? Yeah, look, I might make that. Yeah, look, yeah.
Because one of Zaslav's second in charge is Michael DeLuca these days. Which I like that because he was always a champion of some of that shit that we were begging for. No one wanted to touch it because he.
I know. So Luca was championing Freddy versus Jason. I
Exactly.
think,
So
for a long time.
You know, if we can get Tommy Cruise to come back as Freddy Krueger or something, maybe we'll be onto something.
All right. Okay, that's everything for me. Let's take a break, Jared. And here's the trailer for 1993's Needful Things.
The devil is in Castle Rock.
Oh, you wussy.
He's charming.
You are disgusting. I like that in a person.
He's understanding.
I killed my wife. Hey, these things happen.
And he's been around.
So where are you from?
Wild.
From Stephen King's best-selling book,
Surreal. Having fun now.
Needful Things. Rated R. At theaters August 22nd.
Needful Things from 1993, directed by Fraser C. Heston, I believe son of Charlton, who directed Alaska. It's produced by Jack Cummins, who produced The Addams Family. The screenplay is by W.D. Richter, who wrote Big Trouble in Little China, Jared. And it's based on the novel by Stephen King. It stars Max von Sydow as Leland Gaunt, Ed Harris as Sheriff Alan Pangborn, Bonnie Bedelia as Polly Chalmers, Amanda Plummer as Nettie Cobb, and J.T. Walsh as Danforth Keaton III. The budget, I couldn't find details on the budget, but the box office was 15 million worldwide. On May 1996, the TBS network aired a 187-minute extended edition. The extra footage includes more of the citizens of Castle Rock and their lives, namely the character of Cora Rusk, played by Lisa Blount, shown only in passing in the current version. And that's what I said while I was watching it. I think we saw her maybe twice.
Yeah.
And I think she has one line in that entire bit. So that's interesting. Just a side note for everyone, we have recently purchased the American 4K edition of this film with the 190-minute cut. That's not correct, is it, Jared? That's on there?
Mm.
So we'll probably...
I don't know if it's American, though. Keto Lorba. Where are they from?
I don't know.
I think they're from Europe. Somewhere.
Okay, so European. But so we will probably report back on that in the coming weeks or coming months when we finally get hold of it.
Mm.
I'm going to give it a run. But, Jared, what was your take? Firstly, have you read this book?
No, this is one of the King books I haven't read. I actually watched this a fair while ago too. So I don't have that that background on this particular one. I do want to read the book though. It's one that I've been kind of circling a little bit, never dug into it. So overall, judging based just on the movie, I am kind of familiar with a couple of the extra things that happen in the book. It's a really cool setting and premise for a story. I love the idea of the small town secondhand store. It's kind of like that just sort of
Cash inverters?
Small town cashies that trades in stolen goods. Yeah, the idea is really sound. It's like a really sort of modern take on classic kind of stories of being tempted by the devil and whatnot. So I'll give King some credit for that. It doesn't pan out well. It's another one of these ones where you look at it and you say, this is a really fucking cool setup, but it leaves you a little lacking. It gets a bit of steam. It gathers a bit of steam when people start going through with their end of the deal. And we'll talk about, particular parts of it, but it gathers a bit of steam there where we start seeing some consequences, but it just feels overall like it gets a little lost with the leads. And I don't know whether this is a product of the hour that's missing. I can only assume that entire hour is not dedicated to that one character that was cut.
No.
So it just feels like Pangborn especially is just absent for a real hefty chunk of the first and second act. And then when he comes back in, to me, it felt like his progression through figuring out that Leland Gaunt is something else happens really quickly, but everything around that seems to drag. And then we end up at the end with a bit of just fucking sheer lunacy breaking out for a few minutes there.
Yeah.
You can see a little bit of the comedy that King was talking about, a little bit of the dark humor does kind of make its way into the movie at times. But overall, I think it probably doesn't land and fulfill the promise of what we were looking for. So I went with a 2.5.
2.5. All right. I went with a 2. I kind of felt like you. I mean, this is weird to say, but I want to see the 3-hour cut.
Yeah.
But yet I felt the 2-hour cut was too long.
Yeah.
Which is extremely strange because that extra stuff then adds an hour's worth of material. But I feel like it needed to be a bit like that. Let it run a little bit. Some of the pacing's not there. It's a good cast and it's an excellent idea. But just there's no real focus. There's no atmosphere. There's no real pace to anything. And it only comes alive in the centre portion for about 20 minutes and then the end where everything starts fucking happening. I just felt like it's kind of a misfire of in my opinion, one of my favourite novels of his, which I have read a couple of times and I really like the book. So I do want to see what the 3-hour cut has in store.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it might flesh out more of what the book was.
Well, it seems like the parts that drag perhaps are dragging because they're taking us away from stuff that was underdeveloped. Like the stuff that we want to get back to with, say, Pangborn and Bonnie Bedelia. Does the 3-hour cut actually make that stuff work a little better so that when we go around to the shit that's happening, because I know there is more of the external characters as well, which might flesh out a few of their might deepen a few of their characters a little bit, their motivations and whatnot, because we see touches of it, but not all the way.
It would also be interesting to know, is the 3-hour cut edited differently? So
well,
I think
we're going to find out, Adam.
We are going to find out.
Thanks to the Kino Lorber.
Kino Lorber.
The wonderful
4K. Yeah, the editions.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
It's one of those cases where we kind of sit here and we go, gee, that was a tough watch. Can't wait to watch an extra hour of it.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Absolutely itching to watch an extra hour.
Cannot fucking wait to pay $42 to get this again, even though I said it was fucking average.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, straight out of the gate, I like the premise.
Oh, it's fantastic.
The idea
really
of the townsfolk coming to this antique store, this kindly old man, and then he starts to sort of, I need you to do this for me.
It's another kind of variation on the monkey paw, right? Like,
yeah.
Get your wishes, but careful what you wish for,
Yeah.
sort of.
And I like the idea of putting
different to that,
pitting people against each other because other people are doing things on behalf of what Gaunt is asking, to start rivalries elsewhere. So I really liked all that. I think as far as an idea goes, that's rock solid.
Well, setting up this really, it's setting up the greed angle, what people will do for the things that they want, and the whole idea of him setting up this, but you have to do a little thing for me, which is just a little prank. And it's like, oh, okay, well, they're doing something they know is probably not right,
but
they're not seeing the deeper consequences that are going to come along. And then when they do see the deeper consequences, they don't care because it's. I know people have mentioned maybe it's King talking about his addiction a little bit too. Like they're into it. They're already in it. They can't really see beyond the small thing that's causing these bigger problems. And
I do like along the way, Gaunt goes from kindly old man to, you owe me.
Yeah.
You haven't done what you said you would do.
Yep.
So you don't get what you get, what you wanted.
Yeah.
I think those are great. That's great. That's great stuff. It just kind of creates this whole vibe of like you kind of see why they want to go into his store and then, but I want to get out of it. Nah, but you can't now. You can't get out of it.
You're in the book.
You're in the book.
You're in the fucking dirty old book.
You're in the dirty book. Great cast.
Yeah.
Really good cast of very talented kind of character got.
Yeah, not really an A-lister. Even Ed Harris, you would kind of say he's
a B-lister,
but not like it. Well, he's in that caliber of actor, but when you say A-lister, you think about people that drag in lots of money and things like that too. So he's probably not even in that tier, but across the board, just really good quality. Yeah, quality work. People. Yeah, I was very impressed with that. Like
Max von Sydow brings that touch of class as the old.
He's outstanding. JT Walsh, your favourite. Ed Harris, of course, is good. Bonnie Bedelia, Amanda Plummer, all really good. Even what's his name, Ridgway. Yeah, I'm a bit of a fan of his work. Yeah, he's done some things as well.
Really, really liked it. So the cast is probably its strength, and that's why I'm really keen to see the 3-hour cut because what character work did we lose? Yeah, and these actors can fill and flesh some of that out.
Well, Stephen King said it was amazing.
Did he?
I mean, Stephen's never been one to
overstate his own horn.
Overstate the work. When a check comes in and says, "Stephen, can we get a quick tweet about this?" Never one to shy away.
Exactly. He's never one to tout his own bullshit, has he?
It's like Stephen walks past Needful Things and hears Leland Gaunt out the front going, "Stephen, I have another contract for a movie.
And he's like,
to take it?" Oh, yeah, okay. I'll sign that.
Exactly. I don't know why, but I had to laugh when Billy Ray Cyrus was playing on the jukebox and the drunk bloke as it starts skipping and going, "Don't tell my heart to skip," and he wanders over and says, "Sounds like he's having a epileptic fit." And then starts fucking booting the shit out of it.
Yeah. It was strong delivery.
Yeah, it was.
I believed he was absolutely shit-faced.
I reckon there's a bit of method acting in that.
Absolutely. Look, absolutely plum-stonkered. I also enjoyed the fact that, finally we start a movie with a prank that is fucking harmless. I mean, when did anyone ever die from having turkey shit on their sheets?
Never.
Just a classic prank.
I know.
Especially when the woman comes home.
Walks fucking straight into
it. Rounds the corner.
What
as
are you,
oblivious
fucking
as can
or something?
Be. And then when she comes off, she's got it fucking on her ears,
and then
on her
she
nose.
Still has time to make a phone call without having
Wash
a shower.
yourself before you pick up that phone that we're all going to use again. Fucking wash yourself.
Yeah, her husband's in the back going, "Fuck, there's turkey shit all over the bloody receiver."
Yeah, every time you go to call someone, you just, fuck, it still fucking stinks. But all in all, classic stitch-up.
Classic stitch-up. Although I have got a question in the dislikes about Brian Rusk.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, interesting question.
Good.
I really like that sequence where he gives Hugh the jacket.
Yep.
And he kind of Hugh explains how, when he was in high school, he was the man and, before he became a bum and all this sort of shit.
Yeah.
And then Gaunt gives him the jacket and everything, and he's walking away from him, just slowly walking away, and Hugh's following him, and he's like, "Do you know Nettie Cobb?"
Mm.
And he goes, I think he says something about she killed her husband or something.
Yeah.
The crazy woman who killed her husband. And then he just sort of turns around. He says, "What do you want me to do?" Or how? Oh yeah, that's right. He asks how much the jacket is.
Mm.
And Gaunt just kind of turns around and he just smiles with this kind of look and he opens the knife.
Yep.
And it's kind of, it's
It's the first hint of like real sinister.
Yeah, sinister. There's a creepiness to the way he does it.
Yeah.
And it's really, really well played.
You'll probably know more about this having read it, but I've heard that character in particular is one that highlights the advantage of the book in this situation. I've read in the book, it's kind of because he doesn't get a jacket, does he? He gets the foxtail or something that was on
The
car
foxtail.
aerial.
Yes.
But I've heard
He
that he's
used to
the
put it on his
character.
car
Yeah, he
and
used to
all
put
this
it on
sort
the
of
car
shit.
aerial. And like, I've heard he's one of the characters where in the book you get this real sense of tragedy.
Yes.
Like it was like he's wanting to relive when he really enjoyed his life.
Yeah.
Just before it all turned to shit and alcoholism and shit like that.
Yeah, that is, and it would. I'm really keen to see what they do with that. I mean, foxtail changed to Letterman jacket probably isn't that big
You
a
still
deal.
get it, but the
Yeah.
idea, like the sense in the book where you can go into someone's fucking thoughts and have them explaining.
Well,
to
think
you.
about that probably from the dislike perspective, but you only get a flash of what they
You get a
want,
flash of him in the
what
car.
they were,
And
like,
he has a couple of sentences that don't really probably give the depth to it all.
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, but the book does a really good job there.
Yeah.
The idea of kind of, and I think you had a slightly separate, like in terms of the characters and what they got from Gaunt. I like the Danforth one.
Mm.
I know it was kind of like I need to get out of this money hole that I'm in, and this idea that this horse racing game, if you play it beforehand, you get the results in advance, and you can bet on that shit. I kind of like that because that was his character. That was who he was.
I don't have any issues with what people are getting. It was just with the leads.
Yes,
Which I'll get to later.
Yeah.
It's actually it feels like it should be a strength, but it doesn't really play out that way. But yeah, I dug, especially the jacket. I thought the jacket was excellent. The horse racing one I thought was cool because he goes into this. It kind of accelerates looking at him as going a little bit mad.
Yeah.
Because he goes back to like a childlike fucking. You see him in the pits of, oh fuck, this horse is losing again,
Yeah.
And then when he gets this, he goes into this kind of gleeful kind of.
Yes.
You see the mood swing, but he looks a bit crazy when he's playing the horse racing game.
Yeah. So I like that. I thought that was one of the better things to it.
Yeah. I'll talk about my issue later, but yeah, I didn't have any dramas with it. I actually really liked it as well.
The tickets they put around Danforth's house, including charges for being horse fucking, for being the biggest cocksucker in Castle Rock, and for cornholing your mother, which.
Excellent stuff. Again, harmful prank.
Harmless
prank, sorry.
I mean,
Harmless
I don't know
prank.
how many times I've been pulled over and given a ticket for fucking being the biggest cocksucker in Canberra.
That actually
happens every week.
That sequence was good though because it was the start of.
That's when things started to ramp up.
Yeah, it was. You actually got a bit of a laugh out of that scene, and you got very quickly shifts because you know kind of what's going on with the dog.
Mm.
But you get this. You actually, as an audience member, get this sense of you're having a bit of a laugh, and then you just fucking there's a horrific thing coming next.
Yeah.
So you get that kind of that shift a little bit. It was also one of the points where the music worked the best.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
The music was actually on point, like the kind of soaring sort of orchestra sort of sound in the back of that while she's gleefully. You could tell. I think it was really well acted by Amanda Plummer too, because you could tell she's kind of
Loving
having
it.
a little bit of a chuckle at it too.
Yeah. And that's that whole period of about 20 minutes there, where we get her putting them off. We get the dog. We get it sort of moves the throwing of the apples by Brian.
Yep.
We get all that in
And
a
then she
row,
heads out
and
to
then
Wilma's.
we cap it all off with the blue between Nettie and Wilma.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's probably the film at its best,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and it's probably close to an hour in.
Yeah.
Maybe.
About that, I think. We didn't get it a lot. But there was a few parts early, and I think especially in the back and forth between Pangborn and Danforth. I know you are not big on, and I'll let you have a say on that later on. But I know you're not big on how the small town aspect of things works in this particular one, which is usually a strength of Stephen King's stuff.
Mm.
I am probably in agreement with that. The part of it that I think does come through is especially in that relation, you get the sense of the small town fucking living in each other's pockets and everyone knowing everyone's business, which is part of the reason why the setting works well, because when Gaunt sets off one little prank or whatever, everyone knows it's going to be this fucking person because they know about my fucking dog or whether they don't like this or whatever. So Leland plays on that, but I think that's mostly the strongest with Pangborn and Danforth, especially where they're talking about, when he starts telling him about the town funds and whatever, and you can see how easy it's going to be for Gaunt, or you get the sense, reading into that of how interconnected these people are and how these little things can fucking flare up, or how somebody's greed can impact everyone else. And I thought that part worked okay.
Yeah, look, it did. There was a couple of moments there where I liked the way they handled, like when Danforth and Ridgwick come face to face the first time.
Yeah.
That's a nicely played sequence. It gives enough information to know why they're at each other's throats, in the initial phase, so we know how it's going to play out in the future, right? But just even that stuff where he's like, he's calling him a cigar chomping fucking used car salesman. And he's like, boats! I'm a fucking I'm a used boat salesman.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff works well. And I think that does, create somewhat of a small town vibe. But
it is lacking.
It is lacking,
especially
overall.
Visually. You get hints of it visually, but not a lot.
Yeah, you don't really even see in the centre of town.
No, you see the street a couple of times and the shops.
A classic example of this is the way they do it in Jaws, where Brody goes into town in the morning and he walks the street.
Yeah,
and we follow him, and all these fucking dickheads are sticking their hands out, going, this is fucking going on. And we get the geography, but we also get that every prick's pissing and moaning about something shit.
Yeah.
So even something like that would have helped.
Yeah, I think
in this case.
And it was close, right? Like in the opening scene, they're sitting in the cafe, but they're looking out the window and talking about what's going on. Just if that's shot just a little differently to give you, as you said, a little bit of the geography of the main street of the town or something, that would have been a big help. I mean, that's something we were both probably had in the dislikes.
Yeah,
we've gotten to it a little early, but it certainly fits around this same sort of thing. But yeah, I agree. Just a touch of the town stuff.
Yeah, I agreed.
Especially when you got the kid riding around all the time.
Yes.
But you never see him
constantly just see him riding through the fucking...
Through the woods or something.
The woods. It's well, why?
Just follow him down the street or something so we get... Yeah. That's that hurts quite a bit, I think.
I mean, you could have done it with him riding into town and everyone saying hello to him.
Yeah. You only kind of see it when he rides around the corner to the store, but you don't get any sense of where that store is.
Well,
later on, we seem to see that it's like just at the end of the main street or something, but yeah.
I never quite got an understanding where Needful Things was positioned.
No.
There wasn't a lot I didn't have a lot of likes until near the end. The excitement ramps up at the end.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of explosions and everything comes to a head.
Yep.
Kind of successfully enough.
You know, old mate screaming about his book. He took my book.
He took my fucking treasure out.
He fucking said,
"Get out of my face!" Holy shit, mate! Take it easy.
Ease up. Yeah, and there was also the part that made me laugh in the fucking police station where Ridgeworth gets the mousetrap on his hand. Yeah. And he starts, starts screaming or oh mate, the fucking just the coldest delivery is just kind of like, oh, you should have read the card first.
That's right, because it said the handicap spots are now yours.
Yeah.
So he would have known it was from...
I couldn't stop laughing. The driest delivery.
Exactly.
Was bang on.
And my last like was, I do like that Gaunt is still alive.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yep.
and then he just kind of comes wandering out. He's not all burned up or anything. He's just looks like he did, and he kind of gives this ominous kind of, final kind of remarks to Pangborn about meeting his grandson in the future.
Which I like. I feel like it should have been a little less specific.
Yeah.
Because it starts to raise questions about, so if you knew what was going to go down in this town, do you still turn up? Like, because you seem to know what's
happening in the future.
So there's a couple of questions there. I mean, if it had been a little vaguer, I sort of like the notion of, well, I just go to town and just try it. Of course, it doesn't always work, but I just try to fuck things up as best I can. I like that idea of it.
So do I. Any other likes for you?
No, that was it.
All right, into the dislikes. It's just it's lacking in atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like, you've got some ingredients there you could have used. There seems to be, every night, there seems to be a bit of fog in the air and things like this.
Mm.
And it's an older town, so it has those older buildings and cool architecture it could have had, and little sort of side streets and back alleys we could have used. But there's just none of it. Like, and this comes into what I said about the lack of the small town vibe. It's the same thing that we've just pointed out. It doesn't seem to be directed very well. And maybe, again, they had to cull a lot of shit out of there so you don't get in the 190-minute cut, you get some geography and you understand everything that you need. Maybe some of that's where they lost out.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say it's not directed well, but I think in that sense, yes. I think the exteriors and making use of what seems to be the type of location that King loves to work in, it seems pretty crucial to kind of lay that out and give us a real sense of the town. And yeah, we are missing that, which I think it does affect the atmosphere, because it just seems like you get into just little bits of this, just make you watch something and go, yeah, it feels like a Stephen King bit of work.
Yeah.
And this doesn't have that?
No. I mean, if I didn't know of the novel, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have felt it. I wouldn't have said to myself, it feels like Stephen King.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
So I think there's a few issues there. Look, the director was green, so to speak. I don't think he had a lot of experience prior to that. So maybe a bit of that shows. But again, it's hard to cut the legs out from under the director when you actually shot 190 minutes worth of stuff.
Yeah, and you're
not getting to put it all out there.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I don't necessarily just want to say it wasn't that well directed, but I think there was particular scenes that were well directed and were well done. So, yeah, I think I would probably circle exactly what you said. The exteriors, geography of the town somewhat, or an understanding of where we are, where Needful Things is. Like the cafe, for example. It seemed to be close to the shop, but then we only see it a couple of times and we see it sort of separate from the shop. Even though we get him looking out the window at one point talking about Needful Things, we get Leland Gaunt in the cafe. Do a little more of that. Show him wandering back to the shop or something, like something like that. I know he appears very mysteriously, but there's ways that we can do that, isn't there?
Oh, agreed. Music. Christ.
It's up and down.
It's over the top. Like
initially,
constantly.
It is too. We don't even get through the credits before we
get. We got fucking like orchestras and people fucking.
We didn't get through the credits before we had the rising action.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It was rising action. It's like someone jammed the accelerator on and couldn't get it off.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
As I said, I think it did work really well in particular parts, namely
that sequence. Yeah, it worked really well.
Yeah,
the middle
when the tickets are going up, accusing people of cornholing their mothers and things like that. That it was definitely on point there.
Yeah, agreed. Ed Harris got his engagement ring off the telly.
Come on.
He says to somebody, it's not as good because I got it off the TV. I was thinking to myself,
fucking hell.
What the fuck did you get off the TV? Because that stuff wasn't known to be that good.
No.
Like, if I wanted to extend the ladder,
Yeah, exactly. If I want an extender ladder that somebody says, this thing's, you cannot break it, and then proceeds to stand on and break it, that's what I'll buy on TV. That's what I want. I remember watching one day where a bloke said, "Oh, these glasses are shatterproof," and he hits it with a hammer and it just went. He's like, "Did you see that? It broke, but it didn't shatter."
Oh, God.
Yeah, I was expecting you that little conversation to say, "Yeah, I got it off the TV and they sent me a free ShamWow with it."
Yeah, fucking. I woke up to bloody Tim. What was his name? Tim
Shaw?
Tim
Was it
Shaw. I woke up after a train of drunken haze and saw Tim Shaw on the fucking TV, and he said something about engagement rings. The next thing I know, this thing turned up.
Yeah.
There was
And I
there was a
bought it-
fucking packet of steak knives. And
I
a
bought it within
ShamWow.
the 30 minutes, so I got 2 of them. They sent me 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, exactly. What are you gonna do with the other one? I don't know. Wait till I get married again. Thank you, Alan.
Yeah.
Well done. No
I
wonder
think,
she's gone cold on you.
Yeah.
She
I mean-
immediately cools on his bullshit.
Absolutely. I mean, Pangborn, you've only got yourself to blame. She wanders into Needful Things, and Leland Gord goes, here's what you need, a real engagement ring.
Proper engagement ring. Who
And
gave
this
you
one
that
is
shit?
this one isn't plastic. This one's made.
You know what though? When he shows it to, I can't remember who he shows it to first.
Yeah. It's not Nettie, is it?
No. Oh no, it is. Yes,
It is Nettie?
Nettie.
Yeah, that's right.
Nettie should have been going. No. No.
He's up
Put
big time.
Put that away.
Listen, if you want that to actually go on her finger, you better go and find a proper one. Like,
Are you using that to size her up?
yeah. Not good work, Pangborn.
Now this is one of my big dislikes. The sequence where we first see Gaunt writing Brian's name in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And we just notice his fingernails are really long and his hands have this kind of like monsterish kind of look about them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you have just given the fucking game away straight away.
Yeah.
Like, I know that he's making people's dreams come true, the interests come true and everything. There's something a bit mysterious and supernatural about him.
Yep.
But don't fucking do it straight away. Like, that's just to be,
A
to
little
me,
more subtle.
delivered later that he
Yeah.
is not human and basically he's the fucking devil.
Yeah. A little more subtle would be.
It
Would
just
be a
it just
little
kind of it undercut everything to me.
Yep. I think you're right there. We've kind of touched on it, but I feel like as a product of having so many characters, which at times is good, as we said, the best sequence in the film for mine is when we get the exterior characters playing their pranks and escalating, but we really lose a lot with the leads. There's really not much of anything developed between. I mean, Pangborn and what's her name, Polly.
Polly, yeah.
Polly's relationship is really underdone.
Yeah.
And it's because we're sort of spending all this time around other people, which I said I think is good. And this is why we got to the end of this, said, oh, gee, that's a bit rough. Can we watch the 3-hour one? Because I feel like it does have a lot of space to just add a little more of that stuff and strengthen it while still having the exterior, what's going on. Because I felt like by the time Pangborn kind of rounds back into it in the second hour, you're just like, we don't even know you. We don't know you and Polly's relationship. There's just not much there.
All we know is you're a cheap prick who buys
Exactly.
buy engagement rings off TV.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
All we know is that for fucking Christmas, she's getting a set of steak knives, which you got for free
Yeah.
when
yeah.
you made your last.
And when she
TV
says,
shopping
"What's
purchase."
this?" you're not going to have a decent answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Why have I got these? I don't know.
He says, you're not happy with that? Well, have you heard of a slap chopper? Because I got one of them too. Would you like that instead?
What about a shake weight? Hit you
Toe
with a
tugger?
shake- Yeah, how about I get you a pair of shake weights? That one that fucking Cristiano Ronaldo was flogging, where you put the fucking thing in your mouth and go and shake your head around. It's supposed to be good for your fucking neck or your chin or some crap.
Yeah, Pegboard's got it.
I
I'm
was
sure
like,
he's got an ab crunch as well. An ab roll.
oh, no doubt about that. When I saw it, I was like, surely Cristiano Ronaldo has not fucking...
He's not used
He
that.
hasn't used this.
No.
Christ.
No.
Jesus Christ. But
Yeah.
yeah, it really undercuts them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they are your leads, and yet they seem to be both minimally involved
Yeah.
for
And
a large
so,
portion of the picture.
by extension of that, here's the problem I had with the whole needful thing aspect, right? I didn't have a problem with what people were getting, as you spoke about. Liked that Danforth's things were tied up just in a little board game, kind of the vintage board game sort of thing. So the problem I have is that it seems like Polly's character, some of the other characters, it is a need, right?
Yep.
It's not a need. It's something that you want.
Yeah.
Whereas Polly's, it still is that, but it seems a lot more pressing when she's losing the use of her hands.
Yes.
That's a real strong motivation to kind of dig in. And it feels like we were building up to something like that. We start with Brian, who's a kid. Doesn't really know. He wants his baseball card. Hey, I can relate. I like a collectible. I'm with you, kid. But if it comes down to will you sell your soul for this, which he doesn't know he's doing.
Well, will you throw turkey shit on someone's?
Oh, mate, I would throw turkey shit on anybody's fucking laundry if he's selling me a Tim Duncan rookie card signed. Michael Jordan rookie card, gem mint.
Yeah, I'll
fucking throw turkey. You wait. You'll find turkey shit in your bed tonight. But it starts with that, right? And then it builds up to, okay, well, someone like Danforth, Hugh. We go Hugh next.
Yep.
He's,
the loser, the guy whose life never panned out.
It starts to get a little deeper there, where you see he just longs to not be in the grip of. He just longs to go back to a time when he was enjoying living, basically, which is a little deeper. And you get something similar with Nettie, where she's just kind of got something that reminds her of a better time. You get to Danforth, it's a bit more pressing. It's like, well, fuck, my life might be in danger if I'm not paying back this 20 grand that I pitched.
Out of petty cash. Mike's got 20 grand in petty cash.
Yeah, and it feels like it's escalating. And for Pangborn and Polly, it seems like it is a real... And this is where we're missing a big chunk of their relationship, right? It's obviously impacting her that she's got something that's making her really happy. It seems to be, well, in the brief stretches we get, she's really happy until she sees this fucking engagement ring. But she gets to there, and it seems like...
She chews on it and goes, fuck.
Yeah, it seems like
Really
she
not
wants
real.
to know that this is going to be something that lasts.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not going to be impacted by what she sees as her body failing her or something like that. That, to me, seems like... Yeah, I can see why Stephen put that as the leading character with Pangborn.
Yeah.
But we just don't get it in the movie.
No.
We see it a couple of times and we see it, oh, well, it's fucking quality of life, basically. But it just doesn't feel strong.
Yeah. And it exposes other questions too, Jared.
Mm.
Key questions. Why is Pangborn immune?
Because he's cheap. He buys shit off the TV. Even when Gord
Cheapness
says
is not a sense.
even when Gord says it'll cost you 50 cents, but you'll have to play a prank. Pangborn says I don't
25.
have 50 cents.
25.
Okay.
Like he barters like the dickheads out of hardcore porn. You know, he's fucking bartering people down. By the way, our TV's got that fucking shit on. Yeah, it's a Samsung, so it's a smart TV.
Yeah.
It's got channels of crap.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was a fucking episode of that on. And I love these people who come in and go, $3,000. And they go, $100. And these guys go like this. Yeah.
I love it because they come in strong.
Desperate for fast cash.
They come in strong. I'm not taking anything less than 3. And as you said, they go, I'll give you $100. They go,
yeah.
250, 120, done. Shit, you drove a hard bargain there.
What I love is I don't want to lug it out of here.
Yeah,
So they will take any fucking thing.
Yep.
But this is where the big questions come from. Why is he immune? Because he was in Gaunt's store.
So what sense do you get of that from the book?
I don't recall. why he's immune. I think the idea I got from everything was good versus evil.
Yeah.
He's the good guy. Gaunt is the evil one.
Yeah, evil people will succeed if good people turn their
back. So I get all that.
He doesn't.
But it's not delivered here.
Yeah, it's not classic king kind of.
I mean, he should be as clean as a preacher's sheets. Or fucking clean as Wilbur's sheets prior.
Before I turn up, wheel past on my bike and fling a lump of shit at it for my next card that Leland Gore's providing to me.
So these are the key questions for me. It's not very well stated as to why he's immune. Because he's in the store. In fact, he's having pie with the guy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I know there's a bit of a conversation there where they kind of talk about where they came from and everything like that.
Yep.
And it sort of feels like Gaunt kind of backs off him as if to sort of go,
not my mark.
Not my mark. But it does. It's not very well handled.
Yeah.
Secondly, why is Gaunt wanting to fuck Polly? What's that got to do with anything?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that just his own carnal delights or what?
I don't know, it's just a bit of fun on the side, I guess. I don't know.
I'd like you to do something for me, but before we get there, yeah. So that never really makes a lot of sense because she actually has a flashback to with Gaunt.
Yeah.
Imagine copping that.
Yeah. I kind of, I don't know, I kind of got with that was just like a more kind of explicit sort of the fact that he's kind of seducing everybody with what they want.
But does that mean she wants to shag him?
Seduction. I don't know.
Is it the timeless art of seduction? Because it didn't seem that timeless. I mean, that guy's been around since fucking before Christ.
Do you reckon Leland Gore's got a crooning album called "I Do My Best Work After Midnight" or something like that? Or?
Yeah. I think it's he's probably got something like that.
Yeah.
But none of that makes sense. Another question I have is why is Brian Rusk doing several things?
Well, he was paying for a pretty fucking good card.
I know, but it seemed like that was all he had to do was flick a bit of turkey shit around and he's fucking living life.
But see, he never gets into the depths of it in this. His is all still prankish. Yeah. I mean, busting the windows is escalation, but it's not fucking skinning a dog.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Why is he the one? I mean, it's because he's the young boy, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's playing some pranks and he knows that. And I guess Gaunt keeps bailing him up.
Yeah. And keeps kind of just pushing him to do little things that lead to bigger things for other people.
Yeah. Go over there and call her a
cunt. Yeah.
Hey, go on.
Yeah.
She'll love it. It'd be piss funny. Go on.
Tell her that she said it first.
But those questions are just, they hang.
Yeah.
They hang in the air and they don't get answered very well. Mm. And once again, I don't want to be an asshole if knowing now there's an hour's worth of extra stuff.
Well, it doesn't matter because you already are. So just go ahead. Go ahead.
That's why Gaunt would have sent me packing.
Yeah. Gaunt, you would have walked in and he said, I got nothing for you. You're already locked in.
What are you looking for?
Your name, see this? See my book? He goes to a page. He's got your name scribbled across the whole page.
Yeah. He's like, I fucking dealt with you years ago. What are you doing here?
You're coming. I'll see you soon. You're already locked in.
Yeah, I feel the flames dancing behind me when I go past the fucking church.
Yeah, it's almost like a sunburn. You walk past the church, you feel a mild sunburn. You can't get any closer.
What's going on? My footsteps quicken.
Funny that. Funny.
Yeah, I walk past the front door here.
Oh, fuck. I wanted it with my kids had a thing at the church at school the other day. I wanted him with my father-in-law and he's like, oh, just be careful that the roof doesn't fucking fall in on me.
I know you probably felt hot under the collar pretty fucking quick as well. I noticed you wouldn't have put your hand in the fucking holy water.
Yeah. I put my hand in the holy water and it went...
Shit. Sorry, that was a slight side note. Wilma's husband's a fucking gauntlet idiot, isn't he? Holy shit. I mean, Rusk destroys the house and he knows nothing of it.
Nothing. It's the only joint for. It seems like the only joint for miles, and he can't hear.
I know the turkeys are fucking loud, but shit. And from what I could tell, Jared, he'd been feeding those turkeys all fucking day.
Yeah.
It's not a 24/7 job.
My absolute favourite bit of work from him, though, is when he wanders back in as the two women come crashing out the fucking first floor window. His wife with a
cleaver
embedded in her face, and he goes, "Oh, Wilma."
Too late, mate. Jesus Christ.
Talk about, like, understated reactions.
I can guarantee he's another one that Gaunt said,
Wilma.
no, I won't even waste my fucking time.
Yeah. Gaunt was sitting there trying to ask him what he wanted.
Gaunt's sitting going, what do you want? And he's fucking stepping on his foot. And he's like, huh? The last two things for me were the Danforth Ridgewick sort of fight.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like it should have been in the middle when all the feuds were happening.
It seemed, yeah. It seemed like it should have been more around the time. This is where, like, Pangborn comes back in for a bit, and then this goes on, and then we go back to Pangborn. This is where it's kind of uneven with how it's dealing with the characters and stuff uneven, there. Jack. I did enjoy, though, after he kills his wife, he gets on the phone to Gaunt, and he goes, I killed my wife. Is that wrong?
I think you hit the fucking hammer on the head, mate.
I haven't consulted any lawyers yet, but I'm pretty sure it's probably wrong.
Lawyer up. Get somebody.
But you're right. It seems to be
the wrong place.
Yeah.
And maybe it wouldn't.
And it doesn't really escalate anything because it's less than what we've already got when the two women just go ahead and kill each other.
Yes.
It feels like it's sort of...
Because this is just a punch-up between these two. They kick each other in the balls. And...
I think it's a more extended kind of... Danforth himself is more... It's just like a more extended descent into
madness. Yeah, and he's rambling on about them fucking talking about him.
He kills his wife, yet he still looks less crazy than old mate that was running through widget about his first edition fucking Treasure Island.
I mean, that guy was off his board about that. Jesus, mate, keep it cool.
Yeah,
I understand you're in the devil's grip, but that's the least fucking important thing you should be worried about.
Yeah.
And things like that, he is a minor player. We only see him with the Treasure Island thing, like, briefly.
Yeah.
But again, what's the point of him? Like, if you wanted to maximise, you've had a 2-hour runtime, you want to maximise, you need to cut some of those.
Yeah.
To keep Pangborn and Polly's relationship brewing and all that stuff. It feels like they picked some of the lesser... They didn't pick well in the editing room.
Yeah, and I would like to know more of, like, how much control Heston had over trimming it back to the 2 hours, like what sort of say he had.
And how what he was forced to lose.
It would be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Do you think Stephen was in the editing room?
Oh, fuck, no. He's nowhere near it.
No. He'd recently seen Leland Gaunt, picked up his check, fucked off.
Yep.
All right, my last dislike, the devil kind of basically gives up. You know, Pangborn doesn't shoot Danforth, was it? No, doesn't shoot the Reverend. And then just fires into the air. And then just scolds every prick for being an asshole. And they all go, yep, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Take a look at yourselves. Oh, yeah, fair point.
Yeah, fair point. We're all mongrels.
I would have liked more of a dressing down. You're a fucking disgrace, a lot of you.
You guys should be ashamed of yourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's...
And who pooped in the cruiser?
that would have been... I mean, you want some black comedy, just get everyone stepping forth saying, yeah, I was the one that, I did this to
I threw the apples.
I threw the apples. You get someone saying, yeah, I shot your cruiser, Sheriff. And then...
Leland Gaunt goes, I never told you
Leland Gaunt, and he goes, who are you?
Sorry, I thought we were just being truthful. See you later. But you know what I mean? It just feels really weak.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Gaunt has much power at all in that last scene.
Yeah, so he suddenly goes from being dictating everything that these people will do
Yeah.
to just going, all right, fuck.
feels-
I'm leaving.
Yeah. All right, sorry. I'm going to get a toilet roll because I only did it recently. Haven't had a time to wipe yet. But it feels like, so the part
Look, I'm just warning you, it's fresh. And it's pretty big, so I'll just let you know.
it feels like Danforth is his kind of what's old mate in the stand? Is it Harold?
Yes.
That he kind of gets a grip on.
Yep.
Feels like Danforth is like that, right? Like he's got a hold of someone who's going to do the work for him. But it feels like perhaps maybe it should have been Polly because she had, as I said, I felt she had the strongest.
Yes. I
Should there have
need
been
this.
more
I
of a-
need to be able to live
Yeah, it seems like
my life.
maybe having more of a grip on her down the stretch might have helped that. But I feel like you're right. Like everyone just, as you said, a bit of a
They just fucking fold.
a bit of a dressing down, and everyone says, "Oh fuck, sorry, sheriff."
yeah. Okay, yep.
The devil made me do
You're
it.
on to
I
it.
apologise.
We're on to you. And then Gaunt kind of packs up his... Oh, no. Danforth dives into Gaunt and there's an explosion,
Yeah,
which is fine. And again, it comes to, something that I liked with him coming out of the flames
Yep.
absolutely unscathed.
yeah, still going on with the Pangborn stuff, and
Which is
sorry,
perfectly fine.
Danforth going on, and then Leland, coming out
Yeah,
unscathed.
so he comes
and
out
moving on.
unscathed and he just sort of says, I'll be back, kind of thing. Like, I never go away.
Yep.
That was all good, but it just feels like how things ended didn't sort of... It didn't kind of showcase Gaunt had much going.
Yeah,
I would have even been
It al-
happier that everyone's going off and Pangborn has to sort of stop them all, and then we find that Gaunt has already left town.
or that
my
last
work here is
scene,
done.
That last scene kind of takes place without Gaunt being there. And then Gaunt and Pangborn have a bit of a one-on-one to finish up, like it played out. I think you're right. It may have worked out better if Gaunt was somewhat removed from that last sort of back and forth.
Yeah. And then, but Gaunt,
But yeah, it feels like the devil should be a little harder to be, rather than telling everyone you're a disgrace and turn around and say, pack your shit and get out of here. The devil probably would have a little more pushback.
yeah. Pack your bronze dicks.
Yeah, you bag of bronze sticks.
Your weird fucking sex toys that you were given to the priest, but or was it the reverend? One of them was taking
I think the
that
reverend
shit.
took the bronze dildo.
But you know what I mean? Take all that shit and get out of here.
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointing in that respect.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's funny because we have had 3 people killed, right? So it feels like he's had an impact.
He has.
He's had it.
And you still could have had like a final thing where, I don't know, Pangborn
I still think
pulls
you
him
have
over
the final
on the
thing.
highway on the way out, and they have a quick
that
discussion where
still
Gaunt says to him, "Oh, it wasn't my best work."
I like the fact that he walks out of a situation that you shouldn't walk out of.
Yeah.
If you can retain that part somehow, but have that confrontation being he's puppeting it all, but he's not actually standing there doing it because you know that it's happening.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
that would have
that
been more
would've worked out.
usful.
But you're right. I love the idea of, and this was the thing the whole comments about how specific he was. I feel like it's, well, why don't you just skip the towns you know it's going to be a fucking shit fight in? But if it was a little vaguer, I love the idea of, well, it's not my best work, but this is what I do, and I'll keep doing it.
Agreed. I like that idea as well. Anything else from you?
No, that was it.
All right.
Until we watch
Needful Things. Yes,
190-minute cut.
I'm actually looking forward to the 190 minutes.
Might be able to come back and have a
Maybe
quick discussion.
We'll
on
tack
another
it
episode.
on somewhere, or throw in a quick mini episode where we talk about what was added in the longer cut. But you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podomatic. Send us an email at thrillme@ionet.net.au. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia. Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and Instagram at thrillmepodcastau. Make sure you rate and review us across all platforms. Keep an eye on our Facebook page for details of the next movie that we cover. But until then, take it easy, and we'll catch up with you later. Cheers.
Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.